The Indian men's cricket team is gearing up to open their Champions Trophy campaign against Bangladesh. That's tomorrow, a match that on paper seems to be but a mere formality. There should be no real glitches here in this game. Nevertheless, it's an ICC tournament opener for the side, and the first game always sets you up for the rest of the matches. Plus, there's the thing about momentum. India will want to start on the right foot for this one. But what's grabbing the headlines leading up to the clash is all the drama and the backdrop of their campaign. Where do I really start? There are many ruffled feathers in that Indian dressing room currently. Players against the board for treating them like kindergarten students. Players against the head coach, who some feel is too stern and too rigid when it comes to team decisions. Injuries, some fresh faces, and the pressure of an ICC tournament. It's proving to be quite the pot boiler here. Now, you can always say the Indian team managed to shake off the turmoil that the Border Gavaskar series loss brought with it by a thumping victory over England in both the T20 and ODI formats. But have the fissures truly healed? Are the rifts and the many rifts still open? BCCI has agreed for players to have their families, partners or spouses over for one game of the tournament, breaking a diktat they themselves had enforced post the Australia series. They say they will need prior permission, the players that is, and collectively decide the day the families will accompany the squad, making a U-turn from that strict rule book they had designed, which said that short tournaments like this Champions Trophy will be between just 8 sides cannot have families over at all. Now, there are a few reasons for this U-turn by the BCCI. One, Rohit Sharma, the skipper, spoke for his team in that audio leak ahead of a press conference, which made it evident that all of the Indian players were not at all kicked about this diktat. The BCCI was treating them as children who needed schooling. The board, of course, want discipline, however it comes. So Rohit Sharma's conversation with the board, as he told the chief of selector Ajit Aggarkar there, murmuring, thinking the mics were switched off, probably is one reason the BCCI has arrived at this, what seems to be like a compromise. The other reason you want to start an ICC campaign on a positive, strong note, especially with too much negativity already dominating every space here, and reports of unrest in that dressing room, whether it's Gautam Gambhir's personal manager being shown the door, R. Ashwin's sudden farewell during that Australia series, Gambhir's iron fist coaching rubbing certain players the wrong way, particularly certain players also suggesting that he doesn't want them to be picked in the 11 for certain particular reasons. Extra scrutiny on senior hands Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, who is leading their pace attack, otherwise bowling coach Morne Morkel having to head back due to a personal injury. I could go on. There is enough going on for the management to try and get something positive going in to an important tournament for India. And if that doesn't do much to appease cricketers, Pakistan seems to have made some amends to avoid any further flare-ups. The Indian flag at the stadium has been hurriedly added to the already present 7 other flags of the remaining countries who are participating in this tournament. The BCCI was pretty livid when asked about this blatant call that we learned afterwards the PCB purposefully executed.
First, it should be confirmed that whether the Indian flag was there or not. If it wasn't there, then it should have been put. All the participant nations' flags should have been there.
How much of all this will truly translate into results is what the coming days will really tell. But needless to say, India start as one of the top contenders at the Champions Trophy, and the challenge of living up to that tag, of course, begins tomorrow.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbours were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout the street. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. City measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.